Hey, this is Steven at the Art Knife Invitational, and we are sitting with ABS Mastersmith Tim Hancock. Tim, how you doing today?
I'm doing great. We just finished the show, and it's been great.
We have just finished the show. It's been fantastic. Tim had some work that he's done in the past from one of his #1 collectors. Tim, why don't you tell us a little bit about that collector?
That collector was one of the inspirational collectors of my time. He came to me and offered me a chance to build knives that I had no clients for at the time, with an open checkbook, a top, limit on everything. But he really enabled me to branch out and do things I might not have done.
And so what are some of the things that you might have done with that collector that you hadn't done otherwise?
California daggers, San Francisco dagger type, dog bones. I started the dog bone craze, in my own style, not like the original, because I didn't like the original totally. So that in itself ran a long ways. I made probably 30 or 40 of those. Everybody would swear I made hundreds of them, because every single one won awards and was seen in papers and articles and news, magazines. And it brought me a lot of recognition.
How many knives do you think you've made in total, Tim?
Less than 2,000.
Less than 2,000 knives in a career spanning how long?
Since '85.
So approximately 30 years.
Yeah, close to it. Yeah, active years. First few years are nothing. First 5 don't count. First 100 knives don't count.
So you're a real cowboy. I mean, you actually rode horses and did rodeos and stuff like that. How did you get into making knives?
It was kind of a funny thing. My dad had a collection of Indian artifacts, and in that he had a Sioux knife sheath that was porcupine quill embroidered or decorated. And I said, "That's really cool, Dad, but wouldn't it be neat if you had a knife in it?" And he threw the gauntlet out and said, "Well, hell, any good horse shoer ought to be able to make a knife." Well, he taught me to start shoeing when I was 10 years old. And I was a pretty good horseshoer. So it was, a challenge. It took me a year, and I finally sent him a knife. And I did everything wrong you could do wrong. So I had to build another one. And that's where it went from there, building one after the next till I started to understand what I was doing. I had about 100 knives. I'm a little slow on the uptake,
I don't know about that, Tim. You have some great talent. I remember my first Art Knife Invitational about 10 years ago. You had a fireball or explosion pattern Damascus dog bone dagger that was the one that I really wanted to get, and I didn't get it, and I missed that.
That was the year that I had come back. I'd been diagnosed with Parkinson's, and I did not work for 8 months that year. And I made those few knives just before coming to the show in about a 4-month period when I got my medication stabilized. And I remember your statement. You came back with a vengeance.
Those were incredible knives. So you've made less than 2,000 knives, and you really are known for the dog bone daggers, for pattern development. What else do you feel is your legacy in knife making?
Teaching. I've taught hundreds of guys, especially techniques of methodology for construction methods, takedown handles, grinding methods that are more advanced than the normal grinder. And out of those people, if you took the first tier of people that I taught, they have now taught hundreds of people themselves. Many of them, continue to teach the same. So it's a very large pyramid of people who have followed in my concepts of thinking, and mostly methodology, not making the same step twice.
So, just to wrap it up, I'd like to ask you what, besides teaching, what contributions you've made to knife making, and also who's influenced you. I think that's important to touch on.
I had influence from lots of guys. Not so much that I went to their shop and learned, but learned from their character and from their quality, their traits of how they worked, business practices, style. Larry Fagan has been a fan of mine forever. Jim Schmidt, same way. Guys you wouldn't really guess would be Dee Holder for his relentless work ethics, Loveless for his style, being there at the right time with the right idea. It could go on and on. Buster Warinsky for showing me little tricks that took a long time to sink in but were very important. Just so many people. I know I'm missing hundreds of them. Because
we realize that it's hard to, when you're put on the spot like this, Tim. Is there anybody else that you want to specifically mention or think about that comes to mind?
Moran had played a role, but more in an icon method than anything else. No, pretty much covered the main ones. As far as what I've contributed, I think I brought a good product to the table at a time when it was just beginning to go in an upheaval of quality advancement, and I was right in the middle of that and wasn't afraid to help push the price up either. And I think we should get paid for what we do. We are artists. We should make money for all the skills that we have to learn to do what we do. I think it's important that we be proud of all that.
Well, I totally agree, and I want to let people out there know that of one of the great regrets at this point is that I don't have a Tim Hancock knife. This is Stephen with KnifeTV at the Art Knife Invitational, October 30th, 2015. Thank you.